Everyday cameras are on the hype, more than ever before. They promise better image quality, a real photography experience compared to the smartphone you have in your pocket, and they usually come in a small, portable package that you can bring with you, like the name suggests, every day, ready to capture your best shots. It sounds pretty attractive for sure, but over the last year or so, and actually even more so since I became a dad, paradoxically, I've realized that I don't really need one. You probably saw the thumbnail, and no, this video will not be about tricking you and saying that my A7C II full-frame camera is my everyday camera. I'm a working and passionate photographer, I have no doubt about that, but I'm also quite sure that I'm not the only one in this situation. Maybe you're like me. For you, an everyday camera might create more pressure and more frustration than enjoyment. So in this video I want to talk about the whole concept of an everyday camera and why it might not fit everyone, and who knows, maybe it will make you think twice before digging deeper into your wallet and jumping on the latest and greatest everyday camera that you might actually not really need. Hi, I'm Adrian, a photographer based in Hiroshima, Japan. I make weekly videos about photography, and I just came back from a month-long trip to Europe, 1 week in France and the rest of it in my hometown in Switzerland. That month-long trip to Europe with family really helped me to better understand where photography fits in my everyday life in the current state of things. You see, my close friends and family are not into photography, and when spending time with them, going for a stroll in a park or in the city, I really don't like the feeling of making people wait. I'm torn between two bad options, either taking my time to take a photo and feeling like I'm being a burden, stuck in my own bubble, or rushing the shot and not really enjoying the process, so it is just hard to take photos the way I like to take photos in this situation. Yes, I had some decent results and I brought back photos that I'm quite happy with, but as you know, it is not all about the results, it is also and mostly about the process of taking photos. And in that context, I don't really enjoy it all that much. When I have a photo with me, I feel like I should be taking photos, but I'm frustrated because I can't give it my full attention or to the people around me either. I realized even more that I'm the kind of photographer who needs a clear boundary between photography time and non-photography time. Mixing the two doesn't really work well for me. But this concept of everyday means something different for everyone. Depending on what your daily life looks like, an everyday camera can either make perfect sense or not at all. For me, it conflicts with the way I like to shoot. I'm more composition driven. I'm not like a full landscape photographer mode, hiking hours for just one shot, but I like to take my time to be fully in that zone where I see shapes, light and balance, and when I'm in that mode, I'm not really available for conversation. I'm in my own little photography world, mentally speaking. So there's a sort of a paradox here. You can be someone who loves photography so much that you want to take photos every day, or you can be someone that loves it so much that you don't want to take photos when you can't give it full attention. And I feel like I'm clearly on that second side of the spectrum. If I think about my time in Europe, my everyday there was very different from what it is here in Japan. It was a lot more family and friends time than usual, because back home my routine is a lot of computer work here at home in my office. Then I have dedicated shooting sessions and photo work, and finally some family time. So there's really no space for an everyday camera in between. But your everyday might look completely different. If you commute to work, walk through interesting streets every morning, or I don't know, if you have less family obligations and spend time in places where moments happen naturally, then yes, an everyday camera makes total sense. It just depends on your everyday. Now you may be wondering why I own an A7C II that I often pair with small and compact lenses, or even I shoot also quite frequently still with the Ricoh GR3. Not needing an everyday camera doesn't mean that I don't enjoy compact setups. A smaller setup simply reduces the resistance, it makes me more likely to go out and shoot, or to shoot for longer because there's less weight on my shoulders. I also realized that when I was shooting exclusively with the Ricoh GR3 a while back, I treated it like a real camera, using it for dedicated photo sessions. That experience also helped me understand a lot about how I like to photograph, but in that context, Ricoh became a bit limiting, especially when I needed more control, more flexibility, a viewfinder, and video features. So that's where the Sony comes in. With the a7C II, I can keep things very compact while still having the versatility of a proper mirrorless setup. It's small enough to carry forever, but powerful enough for serious work. So for me, it's not about having a camera for every day, it's about having one that fits better how I actually shoot and how I enjoy photography. And then you may ask, do you ever regret not having a camera with you on a more like everyday kind of situation? And the answer is yes, of course, it happened and it will happen more in the future, I think. But I also think that you can keep your photographer's eye sharp without a camera. I can still observe, compose and do mental photography when the time is appropriate, but I just don't bring back the photos in the end. And let's be honest, smartphones are incredible now. With multiple lenses and RAW capabilities, if a truly special moment happens, I can still capture it decently well. And having an a7C II that is quite compact, I still bring it with me quite often on a kind of everyday situations, but it is mainly to take photos of like family moments when everyone is involved into the process of taking photos. But I have to be honest, it is mostly to take photos of my daughter, but otherwise, most of the time it stays in the bag, but it's there, ready if something very unique happens, and that feels right to me. It keeps photography intentional, not forced and not overlapping with time spent with family or friends. So at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is to be honest with yourself about why you take photos and how you enjoy doing it. If for you, carrying a camera every day excites you and makes you notice more, that's amazing. But if it adds pressure, distraction or frustration, then maybe it's not what you need right now, and that's fine too. You don't have to take photos every day to be a photographer. You just need to keep that curiosity alive, the way you look at the light, at colors, at moments, that matters a lot. And then you can allocate time for photography only at the frequency that suits your schedule and is sustainable to you. I know that for me, photography is better when I make space for it, when I can give it my full attention. That's when I take probably my best photos, and for sure when I enjoy it the most. I know that a few minutes of me talking in this video is not sufficient to learn lessons about yourself. Still, the best way is to experiment, maybe getting that everyday camera for a while, and if it doesn't click, you can still resell it, and the price difference between the purchase price and the resale price will be the price for the lesson you learned. But also maybe I managed to make you rethink your impulsive purchase desire. If so, I think it's already a success. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.